You're on.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Let's have an invocation. Commissioner Sullivan, would you give us an invocation, please?
Yes, sir. We are thankful for the opportunity to be here tonight to conduct the county's business, Lord. Pray that you be with our time and make good decisions, Lord. Pray that you would just keep us safe. We thank you for the safety last night in the storms. Pray that you continue to bless us and give us prosperity in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We didn't have hardly any storm damage last night, did we?
Not here in Charleston.
Trousdale was bad.
Lucked
That
out.
school bus was awful.
We woke up twice, but it wasn't from the storm, it was from the stupid notification.
Yeah.
All right, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda from our last meeting?
Second.
Commissioner Good, and second was
Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Sullivan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes of the November 8th meeting.
So moved.
There's been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion about that? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, the agenda was for tonight, the minutes were for last time. Recognition of the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak to any item on the agenda? A room full of people and nobody wants to talk. Some of you, it's rare that you don't want to talk, so that's great. Hello, Deborah.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
All right, no public recognition. Report of the chairman, I have no report. County mayor,
Mr. Chairman, the only thing, if you have any questions about any items that I'm involved in, I'd be happy to help answer. That's
Okay.
it.
Could I ask you a question, Mr. Chairman?
sure.
Have you received the minutes from the library board?
Personally, I have not.
Well, they
I
should.
checked, I haven't checked my county email today, but I checked it yesterday and I have not received it as of yesterday.
We voted to ask them to send it to this
Right,
committee, and I assume it.
And Mr. Fox was gonna send that out, so I'll have to follow up with
Okay.
him about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't, as far as I know, because I looked.
So I
checked
guess it
in-
ought to come to him. I guess that's to the chairman of this
I was
committee.
just gonna,
Or to her.
I just wanted him to send it out to everybody.
Okay.
You know.
That's good.
Yeah, I checked my email last night from the county and it had not arrived at that point, so.
I checked it this afternoon. I didn't receive anything. So.
All right, I see no old business. New business, veteran service reports will be at the meeting, obviously. And is this month's or last month's it's on here?
That's this month.
That's this month, it does say November, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this month, and looks like they've been pretty steady since all year.
Yes.
All right, reappoint the magistrates.
This is something you have to do every year.
That's correct. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to reappoint the magistrates. Motion of those people. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that will be on the agenda for the commission. Approve meeting dates for the county commission.
And wait, there's one question I need to ask. On the June meeting, June the 20th is now a federal holiday. So this technically should be moved to the
Oh, to the
27th.
Juneteenth?
Yes, should be moved to the 27th. Wanted to make sure that that was okay with everybody. And then also too, we got the school calendar. We think we worked out everything with the school calendar where none of these fall on a break. But wanted y'all to just check your calendars and make sure that there's not something in October or March when we've had issues in the past.
March is not spring break. It's the following week. I take it
Okay.
back.
Do we?
Oh, no, commission, yeah. The legislative meeting is during spring break, but the regular meeting is not.
Okay, do we need, well, we
Well, we
worked
can
that out.
change.
We'll work that
committee
out,
meetings.
that out later. And I don't care what the schedule's like after that.
The only thing about June 27th, that's awfully late.
Well, we could move everything
Mm-hmm.
back like we do in December and make the end of May. Although
would-
you kind of get into Memorial Day and that can mess with some.
Why don't you just consolidate some of the committee meetings unless you need to do it?
Yeah, I would-
And move it to the second Monday.
Let's do it on the second Monday and consolidate. Because I think that'll be, just in case we need to, like if, like a couple years ago when we end up having to go on continuation.
That's exactly right.
And the 27th, that's gonna, for those who travel 4th of July.
If you have, well, and if you have kids that play sports, that's the
first,
dead period.
That's the first week of the dead
Right.
period, yeah.
Okay, we'll change that to the 13th of June then, and then just go ahead and make sure the committees know we need to book everything there that Monday and Tuesday of the week before.
I'll change it on my calendar today, I think it's a good change.
I'm good with that motion. I still made the motion and change.
Okay. So the change is June 13th, 2022 will be the June meeting. And then we'll worry about the other meetings when the time comes. Any more discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, was there a second originally?
I'll second it.
Okay. Anti-discrimination policy is something we have to do annually, is that correct?
Yes, just have to do that, yes.
So moved.
And that's the next page. Is there a motion by Chairman Langford? Is there a
Second
second?
by Mr. Driver.
Commissioner Driver. Any more discussion? All right, this is something we have to do every year, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Consideration of proposed ambulance rate increase due to drastic inflation of medical supplies and everything else.
And you have your EMS chief here to explain to anyone who has questions.
Okay. Anyone have questions for the chief?
I'd like to comment, Mr. Chairman, I mean, we really don't have a choice. Inflation is driving the cost of medical supplies and drugs are off the chart. So if we don't increase our fees, which are user-based, then ultimately it's gonna come down to the taxpayers that has to subsidize this service. And this is probably one of the most important services we have in the county, so. I mean, Greg's here to answer questions, but that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it, Greg?
A motion to approve, send it to the full commission.
Second.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Sullivan and a second by Commissioner Good to approve and send it to a full commission. Just one question. Looks like it's putting us kind of in line with everybody else. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what he tried to
With
do.
the second page here? Any more discussion?
Just say in the meeting that we had, that we didn't have a quorum, he did go through a lot of the stuff, and it really, this has little to do with lining up with everybody else. It has to do with the cost of drugs spiraling for us and things like that. And just a lot of things going
Oh,
on.
I'm sure gloves are going up. Everybody in the world's buying gloves, has been buying gloves the last year.
Mr. Chairman, the last time
Yes, sir.
that this body and the commission approved a rate increase was almost 6 years ago. So we were probably due for one a couple of years ago
Probably
anyhow,
were.
but now it's just been exacerbated due to the pandemic and the increase in all the medical supplies and drugs. So
Right. All right, any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Chief,
Act of 1953.
Abolish cemetery private acts.
In 1953, this body passed a private cemetery act that is extremely outdated. It now needs to be handled by developmental services. Y'all don't know where cemeteries need to be placed and all the things that go along with them. But what we need to do is abolish the private act, and we won't be able to do that until January. But I want to go ahead and get it to our
Because the
representatives.
state legislature has to abolish it.
Right, because it was a private act.
Correct.
It's, we're the only county in the state that I can find that still has one this way, because the state really has oversight of these things. It's gone are the days where you could bury somebody in your backyard.
And the 1953 county commission, there's probably nobody around that we can ask about it.
I think I was on that committee.
Was that the first time you were on there, Mr. Hinton?
Yeah, I believe it was.
1953?
I was just saying, I think Mr. Hitten's sign right here on my form.
I will bring this up that we talked about a bit. You remember 100 years ago, we had a problem with roads going to cemeteries.
Yes, sir.
And the county couldn't work on those roads because they were private roads.
Right.
And we we got a bill passed through the state legislature, private act, to allow the highway department to work cemetery roads, even not blacktop them now, gravel, to make them passable to cemeteries.
And actually, several years ago, the state adopted that statewide.
Did they really? My goodness. Put
Leah,
that aside.
So we were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Yes.
One
It's better
question
than
about
emissions.
this. They'll still own larger tracts of land, they'll still be able to, if they wanted to, within perimeter, set up their own family cemetery.
Absolutely, but they'll have to go through developmental services
Correct.
instead of coming to the commission
Yeah.
and having to.
And I just wanted that on record, because I want people to understand this is not taking
Oh,
something
no.
away from them.
No,
This is
not at
just,
all.
this is just making it a little bit more manageable, so it's
That issue.
updated version.
The statute right now, the way it's written.
Boy, that was bad.
the-
That was
The
bad.
county commission technically has to approve any cemetery in the county, period. In Hendersonville, Gallatin, wherever. And the city and the county have to both approve it if it's within 3 miles of the city limits. And so every once in a while, we have somebody come by that wants to do this, and the process is so incredibly onerous. I tell people, if you're on a timeline with this thing,
Yeah.
don't.
Nobody could die for the next 10 years, right?
Nobody makes it to the end of the process, really. I mean,
They
because-
really don't.
Because it's so
So
tough to get it
difficult.
approved.
And that's really what I wanted, is to go on record that we're actually trying to make this
Easier.
manageable,
Mhm.
rather than some hurdle that nobody can overcome.
Correct.
This cemetery that's up at Westmoreland where people are not enclosed in caskets or
Yes,
not.
the natural one.
Yeah, how long has that been ineffective? Didn't we do something
We
on
passed that a
one?
couple
We
years
did,
ago.
you approved that a
We
couple
approved
years
it.
ago.
Okay.
Under the 1953 Act.
Okay.
Before I was here, that was 2017.
So
I remember
that was covered under, that was because of this.
Well,
Was it?
that was kind of a combination of two. That was actually a public commercial cemetery. This is really just for private family cemeteries. And that's what makes it even more complicated, is nobody ever thinks about it till someone is about
Till
to
someone
pass
passes
away and
away.
says, I wanna be buried here.
And then there's a
And
3-year
then it's-
process.
And then it's a 3 or 4 month process, so they literally have to bury them someplace else and then relocate them. So this way we can kinda get
Or
ahead of that.
put them in the living room until we get ready?
Yeah.
That's a long wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion? Till we kill this issue. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Yes, there was,
I don't know that we did.
oh.
I'll make the
I'm
motion.
sorry.
Second.
Motion by,
Langford.
we got on a roll and forgot about it. Langford is second by Good. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Okay. Thank you. Resolution ratifying proposed amendments to the Sumner County Comprehensive Growth Plan and forwarding the same to the Local Government Planning Advisory Committee. And that should be the next page. Any-
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Just want to let you know, for the record, what this is. This is an update to our growth boundaries. This was passed over 20 years ago by county commission, and this is a state requirement that any city has to have a growth boundary to be able to annex. And of course, the state law has changed, and the only way you can annex now is one of two ways. You have to annex by request or by referendum in an area that is outside the city limits, but yet inside the growth boundaries. What this does is, this has been, what, about a 3-year process, Josh?
Yes, sir.
To where you've had input by all our cities, has to be passed by all legislative bodies, and this is updating something that's basically over 20 years old. And with that, Josh is the answer man, and he's kind of the brains behind this, and this took a lot of work, and a lot of effort, and a lot of time, so just wanted to give you a kind of a overcap of what's going on.
I've got a question. I thought I remembered from hearing before that we were basically going to eliminate.
No,
Please.
that is totally different.
Okay.
That is planning districts.
Okay, thank you.
This is required by state statute.
Gotcha.
You have to
Okay.
have growth boundaries
Thank
in
you.
any county in the state of Tennessee.
They were last updated comprehensively in the year 2000, I believe, was when last time. it
That's
was done.
correct.
And so it's just a revisit, that what happened was the cities, all individually considered what they wanted their urban growth boundaries to be. They adopted resolutions if they wanted to change anything or keep them the same. They didn't have to adopt a resolution, but they let the coordinating committee know what they wanted. And those requests are reflected in an overall plan. So there's Gallatin, Hendersonville, and Goodlettsville are making adjustments to their urban growth boundaries. The rest of the city could leave them the same,
Are reducing
or
sometimes.
reducing,
Yeah.
Motion approved.
All right,
Second.
there's been a motion by Commissioner Good,
Second.
second by Chairman Langford, to approve the change in the urban growth boundaries. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Commission recognition, number 10.
Motion group
is there a
approve,
motion to
A
group
through
and
E.
approve. What's that?
Group it for the A through E.
A through E.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Good, second by Commissioner Sullivan to group and approve A through E. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Please,
Okay.
please show that I abstained.
He's abstaining
In italics.
in italics.
Yeah.
Thank you. Zoning, number 11.
Motion group and
A.
approve, second reading.
Okay. Let me read it first, please.
All right.
Rezoning Old Highway 31E Pizza. Michael G. Francisco, applicant, representative, et cetera, et cetera. That's A, and B is Wilson Pud, major plan amendment. And you want to, is there a motion to group and approve?
So moved.
On second reading for both of them, there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, was anything else we need to do?
Both just go to the floor.
Yep,
Just send it to the floor from here,
correct.
okay? Any more discussion?
You gonna vote on that, Mr. Chairman?
These appear to both, let's
You
see,
need to vote.
yeah, we need to vote on these. A is in Commission District 1 and B is in Commission District 3. So, all right, any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any more discussion, or is there a motion of the motion?
Motion adjourned.
Second?
Motion to adjourn, seconded, is all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, just stay here, hang out.